There are moments in life when people begin to question why their prayers seem unanswered and why the promises they believe in appear delayed. Many wonder why, if a blessing has already been spoken over their lives, it has not yet arrived. But delays are not always denials. Very often, delays are part of a divine process that prepares the heart, strengthens faith, and aligns circumstances for something far greater than what was originally imagined. When a person first receives a promise, excitement fills the heart. Faith rises quickly, and the future seems clear and bright. But as days turn into weeks and weeks into months, doubt can quietly begin to whisper. The mind starts asking questions. Did I misunderstand? Did I believe too much? Has something gone wrong? Yet the truth is that many of the greatest breakthroughs are born in seasons where nothing seems to be happening on the surface. Faith is not proven when everything arrives immediately. Faith is proven when someone continues to believe, even when the evidence has not yet appeared. It is easy to celebrate when doors open quickly, but true spiritual strength is built in the waiting. Waiting stretches the soul. Waiting deepens trust. Waiting transforms a shallow belief into an unshakable conviction. Sometimes the delay exists because preparation is still taking place. A blessing that arrives before someone is ready can become a burden instead of a miracle. Character must often grow before the opportunity appears. Wisdom must develop before influence increases. Patience must be learned before abundance is released. What feels like a pause is often preparation. There are also moments when unseen obstacles must move out of the way before the promise can manifest. In the spiritual realm, many things are happening beyond what human eyes can perceive. While someone feels forgotten, solutions may already be forming. While a person feels stuck, new paths may already be opening. The silence does not mean nothing is happening. Often, the most powerful changes are taking place quietly. Another reason delays occur is to deepen dependence on faith rather than circumstances. When everything happens quickly, people can begin to trust results instead of trusting the one who provides those results. But when the journey includes waiting, prayer becomes stronger. Belief becomes more focused. The heart learns to rely on something greater than what can be seen or touched. During these seasons, words become extremely important. What someone speaks during the waiting period can either strengthen faith or weaken it. Speaking hope, expectation, and belief creates an atmosphere where miracles can grow. But speaking fear and doubt can slowly drain the strength of the spirit. The mouth has power, and the words chosen during difficult seasons often shape the outcome. There are countless testimonies of individuals who almost gave up just before their breakthrough arrived. The delay tested them, but it also refined them. By the time the answer finally appeared, they had become stronger, wiser, and more grateful than they could have been if everything had happened instantly. This is why a delay should never be mistaken for abandonment. The waiting season can be a sacred place where transformation happens quietly. It is the place where faith becomes real, where vision becomes clearer, and where a person learns to stand firm, even when the visible world offers no reassurance. In the end, the promise that takes time often carries greater impact than the one that arrives immediately. What seems slow today may become the testimony that inspires others tomorrow. And when the moment finally arrives, the joy is deeper because the journey required trust, perseverance, and unwavering belief. Life often presents moments when circumstances appear immovable, when challenges stand like mountains and solutions seem far beyond reach. In those times, many people feel powerless and begin to believe that their situation will never change. Yet history and countless personal testimonies show that what appears impossible to human understanding can be transformed through persistent faith and prayer. The power of faith is not simply about hoping for something good, It is about holding a deep conviction that even when the visible world says no, a greater power is still able to bring change. Faith begins in the heart before it ever appears in reality. When someone faces difficulty, the natural reaction is often fear or discouragement. The mind starts calculating the limitations, the lack of resources, the time that has already passed, the obstacles that seem too large. But faith invites a person to look beyond those limitations and believe that circumstances are not the final authority. Instead of focusing only on the problem, faith focuses on the possibility that change can occur even when the path is not yet visible. Prayer is the channel through which this faith becomes active. Prayer is more than simply speaking words during a difficult moment. It is an ongoing conversation with God, a connection that allows the heart to release fear and receive strength. When someone prays consistently, something powerful begins to happen internally. Anxiety starts to lose its grip, hope begins to rise again, and the spirit gains the courage to keep believing. Even before external conditions change, the person praying begins to change. Persistent prayer also creates discipline in the life of a believer. When someone continues to pray day after day, even when nothing seems to move, that perseverance builds spiritual resilience. It trains the heart not to surrender to disappointment. Instead of giving up after one attempt, the believer learns to keep knocking, keep asking, and keep trusting that an answer will eventually come. There are many moments when the greatest transformation begins quietly in the unseen realm. A person might pray for a breakthrough while everything around them looks exactly the same, but behind the scenes, new opportunities may already be forming. Relationships may be aligning. Doors that once seemed permanently closed may slowly begin to open. What appears to be silence can actually be the period when the answer is being prepared. Faith also influences the way someone speaks and thinks about their situation. When a person truly believes that change is possible, their words begin to reflect that expectation. Instead of constantly repeating how impossible things are, they begin to speak with confidence that something new is on the way. Those words strengthen the spirit and help maintain hope during the waiting period. Another powerful effect of persistent prayer is clarity. Many times, people ask for change without fully understanding what direction their lives should take. Through continuous prayer, guidance often begins to appear. New ideas emerge, decisions become clearer, paths that were once confusing start to make sense. Prayer not only invites miracles, it also helps reveal the wisdom needed to move forward. Even when the answer does not arrive in the way someone expected, faith and prayer often lead to outcomes that are greater than what was originally imagined. A closed door might redirect someone toward an opportunity far better than the one they first desired. A delayed response might prevent a mistake that would have caused greater difficulty later. The combination of faith and persistent prayer transforms impossible situations because it changes both the internal and external realities of a person's life. Internally, it replaces fear with courage and doubt with hope. Externally, it opens pathways that once seemed unreachable. What once looked like an unmovable mountain can slowly begin to shift. When someone refuses to give up believing, even when the circumstances look unchangeable, they place themselves in a position where miracles can occur. The journey may require patience and determination, but the power released through unwavering faith and constant prayer has the ability to reshape even the most difficult situations. Every great transformation in life begins with something that cannot be seen. Before any success appears, before any breakthrough becomes visible, there is first a picture formed in the heart and mind. Vision is the ability to see a future that does not yet exist. It is the inner picture of what life could become when faith is allowed to guide the journey. Without vision, People often drift through life reacting to circumstances, but when a person carries a clear vision connected to faith, their life begins to move in a purposeful direction. Vision gives meaning to hope. It is more than simply wishing for things to improve. Vision allows a person to imagine the possibilities that God has placed within their life. When someone begins to see themselves overcoming difficulties, rising above limitations, and stepping into a new season of purpose, that picture begins to influence their actions. The heart becomes energized by the belief that the future can be different from the present. Believing in God's promises plays a powerful role in shaping that vision. Many people hear encouraging words or read powerful promises, but they struggle to truly accept them as personal truth. The difference between hearing a promise and believing it is the difference between doubt and transformation. When a promise is truly believed, it becomes a foundation for faith. It gives the heart something firm to stand on even when circumstances seem uncertain. Vision also protects the mind from becoming trapped by negative situations. When someone only focuses on their current struggles, discouragement grows quickly, problems appear larger, and hope becomes smaller. But vision shifts the focus toward what is possible rather than what is presently difficult. It reminds a person that their current moment is not the final chapter of their story. Something greater may still be forming ahead. The power of vision is especially important during seasons of waiting. There are moments when progress feels slow and results appear distant. During those times, the inner picture of the future becomes a source of strength. It reminds the believer why they started the journey and why continuing to believe is worthwhile. Without vision, waiting can feel empty and exhausting. With vision, waiting becomes a season of preparation. Believing in God's promise also brings confidence that circumstances do not have the final authority. Human understanding often measures possibilities based on what seems logical or achievable through personal effort alone. But faith invites a different perspective. It allows someone to believe that even situations that appear impossible can change. That belief fuels perseverance, helping a person continue moving forward even when others may not understand their determination. Words and thoughts play an important role in keeping vision alive. What someone repeatedly speaks and thinks about gradually shapes their inner world. If a person constantly declares defeat, their vision begins to fade. But when they speak words of faith and expectation, that vision becomes stronger. The mind starts to align with the belief that the promise will eventually manifest. Vision also influences daily choices. When a person clearly sees where they believe God is leading them, they become more intentional with their time, energy, and decisions. They begin to avoid distractions that pull them away from their purpose. Instead of living randomly, they start living with direction. Each small step begins to move them closer to the future they have envisioned. Another powerful aspect of vision is that it often inspires others. When someone carries strong faith and speaks confidently about what God can do, people around them begin to notice that hope. Their belief becomes contagious. It encourages others who may feel discouraged and reminds them that transformation is possible. Ultimately, vision and belief in God's promises work together to shape a life that moves beyond limitations. Vision paints the picture of the future, while faith provides the strength to keep pursuing that picture even when challenges arise. The journey may include obstacles, delays, and moments of uncertainty, but a person who holds firmly to their vision and continues believing in God's promise often discovers that what once seemed impossible can eventually become reality. Trusting God when everything is going well is something many people find easy. When doors are opening, when prayers seem to be answered quickly, and when life appears to move in the right direction, faith feels natural and strong. But the real depth of trust is revealed in moments when results are not visible, when prayers seem delayed, and when circumstances create uncertainty. Those are the seasons that test the heart and reveal whether faith is built only on what can be seen or on something much deeper. Human nature often seeks immediate evidence. People want to know that their efforts are producing results. They want signs that confirm they are moving in the right direction. When those signs do not appear, doubt can begin to grow quietly. The mind starts to question whether the path is correct or whether believing was a mistake. But trust that depends only on visible results is fragile. True trust grows when a person continues to believe even when the evidence has not yet appeared. There are many moments in life when the greatest work is happening beneath the surface. Just as a seed planted in the ground begins its growth where no one can see it, many blessings begin developing in ways that are not immediately visible. A person might feel like nothing is changing, yet unseen progress may already be taking place. New opportunities may be forming, challenges may be shifting, and preparations may be unfolding quietly. When someone learns to trust God during those silent seasons, their faith becomes stronger and more stable. Instead of reacting to every change in circumstance, they begin to develop a deeper confidence that their life is guided by a purpose greater than what they can fully understand. This type of trust creates peace even in uncertain moments. It allows the heart to remain steady while waiting for the right time for things to unfold. Trust also protects the mind from becoming overwhelmed by fear. When people focus only on what they can see, they often become anxious about every obstacle. Problems begin to feel larger than they truly are. But when trust is placed in God rather than in circumstances, the perspective begins to shift. Challenges may still exist, but they no longer have the power to control the believer's hope or direction. Another important reason trust matters during unseen seasons is that impatience can sometimes lead people away from the path meant for them. When results do not appear quickly, some may try to force solutions or make decisions driven by frustration rather than wisdom. But when someone chooses to trust and wait with faith, they allow the right opportunities to emerge at the proper time. Patience becomes an important companion to trust. Waiting does not mean doing nothing. It means continuing to move forward with faith while believing that the outcome is still in God's hands. During these periods, character grows, strength develops, the heart becomes more resilient. What once felt like weakness slowly transforms into spiritual maturity. Words also play a powerful role during these moments. Speaking negatively about the future can slowly weaken trust and replace hope with doubt. But when someone chooses to speak with faith and expectation, their spirit remains strong. Positive words help maintain confidence that what is not yet visible may still be on its way. Over time, many people look back and realize that the seasons when they could not see immediate results were actually some of the most important periods of their lives. Those were the times when they learned patience, developed deeper faith, and discovered a strength they did not know they possessed. What once felt like silence eventually became part of a larger story of growth and breakthrough. Trusting God without immediate evidence requires courage, but it also opens the door to a deeper relationship with faith itself. Instead of relying only on visible success, the believer learns to rely on God's character and promises. That kind of trust cannot easily be shaken by temporary challenges. In the end, the person who learns to trust even when results are not yet visible often discovers that their faith becomes unbreakable. And when the answers finally arrive, they carry a deeper appreciation because the journey required patience, belief, and unwavering trust. Words have a powerful influence over the way people think, feel, and respond to life's challenges. Many individuals underestimate the impact of what they speak daily, especially during difficult seasons. Yet the words spoken in moments of pressure often reveal what truly exists within the heart. When someone consistently speaks words of fear, defeat, or hopelessness, those words begin to shape their mindset and weaken their confidence. But when a person chooses to speak words of faith, hope, and expectation, something powerful begins to take place within their spirit. Speaking words of faith is not about ignoring reality or pretending that problems do not exist. Instead, it is about refusing to allow difficulties to define the final outcome. Faith-filled words acknowledge that challenges may be present, but they also declare that those challenges do not have the ultimate authority. This perspective allows a believer to face obstacles with courage rather than surrendering to discouragement. The connection between words and spiritual breakthrough is deeply connected to belief. What a person repeatedly says often reflects what they truly believe. If someone constantly speaks about failure, their mind gradually accepts failure as the expected result. But when they speak with confidence that change is possible, their thinking begins to shift. Their mind starts searching for solutions rather than dwelling on limitations. Words also influence emotional strength. During seasons when circumstances appear overwhelming, the atmosphere around a person can become heavy with worry and doubt. In those moments, speaking words of faith can change the environment of the heart. Declaring hope, gratitude, and belief lifts the spirit and restores inner strength. Even when the external situation has not yet improved, the internal condition of the heart becomes stronger and more resilient. Another powerful effect of faith-filled words is that they reinforce persistence. When someone verbally affirms that a breakthrough is coming, they remind themselves not to give up. Those declarations become anchors that hold their faith steady during moments when discouragement tries to creep in. Over time, these words create a habit of expectation rather than defeat. Speaking words of faith also shapes the way a person sees the future. If someone constantly repeats that nothing will ever change, their vision becomes limited and clouded by negativity. But when they declare that new opportunities can appear and that transformation is possible, their mind begins to imagine possibilities beyond the present situation. This renewed vision often leads to renewed motivation and determination. Faith-filled speech can also inspire others. When people around you hear words of confidence and hope instead of constant complaints, they often feel encouraged themselves. Your belief becomes a source of strength for those who may be struggling with their own doubts. In this way, speaking words of faith not only strengthens the speaker, but also uplifts the entire community around them. There are countless examples of individuals who faced enormous obstacles, yet continued speaking words of belief over their lives. Even when they could not see immediate results, they refused to allow negative language to dominate their thoughts. Instead, they declared that their situation would change, that their future still held promise, and that their faith would carry them through the uncertainty. Over time, this consistent pattern of speaking faith-filled words builds a powerful mindset. The believer becomes less controlled by temporary circumstances and more focused on long-term purpose. Instead of reacting emotionally to every challenge, they respond with confidence that their journey is still moving towards something meaningful. Ultimately, the words people choose each day become seeds planted in their own hearts. Seeds of doubt produce discouragement, but seeds of faith grow into hope and perseverance. While words alone do not instantly remove every obstacle, they create the inner strength necessary to continue believing and moving forward. When someone learns to speak with faith, even in difficult moments, they align their thoughts and spirit with the belief that breakthrough is possible. And over time, that unwavering expectation often becomes the foundation upon which real transformation is built. preparing for a miracle is something many believers rarely think about. People often pray for change, ask for breakthroughs, and hope for new opportunities, yet they sometimes forget that preparation is an important part of receiving what they have been praying for. When someone truly believes that God is about to do something powerful in their life, their actions begin to reflect that expectation. Preparation becomes a visible sign of faith. One of the first things a believer should do while expecting a miracle is strengthen their faith through consistent prayer. Prayer keeps the heart connected to God and helps maintain spiritual focus during seasons of waiting. When someone prays regularly, they are not simply repeating requests, they are developing a relationship that builds trust and confidence. This connection brings peace even before the miracle arrives, because the believer knows they are not walking through life alone. Another important step in preparation is guarding the mind against doubt and negativity. Difficult situations can easily fill the mind with fear and discouragement. If someone constantly focuses on worst-case scenarios, their hope slowly weakens. Preparing for a miracle means protecting the mind with faith-filled thoughts. It means choosing to believe that the future can still hold unexpected blessings, even when the present moment looks uncertain. Believers should also examine their attitude during this waiting period. Gratitude plays a powerful role in spiritual preparation. When someone takes time to appreciate the blessings already present in their life, their perspective begins to shift. Instead of focusing only on what is missing, they become aware of what has already been provided. Gratitude opens the heart and creates a positive atmosphere where faith can grow stronger. Another part of preparation involves aligning actions with belief. If a person truly believes that new opportunities are coming, they begin to position themselves to receive those opportunities. This may involve learning new skills, improving discipline, or becoming more responsible with the resources they already have. Sometimes the miracle someone is waiting for requires them to grow into a new level of readiness. Forgiveness is another important step that many people overlook. Holding on to resentment, bitterness, or past hurt can create emotional barriers that weigh heavily on the heart. Preparing for a miracle often requires releasing those burdens. When someone chooses forgiveness, they free their spirit from the chains of the past. This freedom allows them to move forward with a lighter heart and a clearer mind. Patience is also essential in this process. Miracles rarely arrive according to human timelines. Many believers become discouraged when answers do not appear quickly. But patience is not simply passive waiting. It is active trust. It means continuing to believe that something meaningful is unfolding even when the final result has not yet appeared. Another powerful way to prepare for a miracle is by speaking words of faith over one's life. Words influence thoughts, and thoughts influence actions. When a believer consistently declares hope, possibility, and trust in God's promises, they strengthen their inner confidence. These words become reminders that the story is not finished and that greater things may still be ahead. Community and encouragement can also play a valuable role. Surrounding oneself with people who support faith and positivity helps maintain strength during challenging seasons. When believers encourage one another, they create an environment where hope can flourish instead of fading. Preparation for a miracle ultimately reflects a deep expectation that something extraordinary is possible. It shows that the believer is not simply wishing for change, but actively positioning their life to receive it. This preparation transforms waiting into a meaningful journey rather than a period of frustration. When the moment finally arrives and the miracle unfolds, the person who prepared with faith, patience, gratitude, and determination often discovers that the journey itself has already changed them. They are stronger, wiser, and more grateful than before. The miracle becomes not only the answer to a prayer, but also the confirmation that faith, when combined with preparation, can open the door to remarkable transformation.